What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another showdown breakdown for tonight's Monday Night Football battle between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, courtesy of Osmo.com. We got to get ourselves back on track after Brian Hill ruined so many of our lives yesterday, so let's get some positive energy in the air, and right now, please hit that like button. And also, comment your slate breaker down below. Could be a cheap guy, somebody like Andre Patton, could be Tyreek Hill, but let me know who you think ruins tonight's Monday Night Showdown slate for all of us down below. Let's kick off the showdown breakdown as we always do, starting with the quarterbacks and Patrick Mahomes in a matchup at the Chargers, in which there are 28.5 implied points for Kansas City. Mahomes had 50 pass attempts at 446 yards in his return from injury versus Tennessee. And while the Chargers bring decent pressure with a 25% rate, it's hard to imagine Mahomes not paying off his price today. The Chargers allow opposing QBs a 72% completion rate and struggle with tackling with a bad 42 grade from PFF, so Mahomes may be worth captain exposure too, despite his steep price. And on the other side, we've got Phillip Rivers in this match versus Kansas City, in which there are 24 implied points for the Chargers. Rivers does project as a better value than Mahomes, but feels like a more variant play will be in trouble if Kansas City generates pressure, but he could have a huge day if his line somehow keeps him clean. The Chargers' pass game has been less successful since changing offensive coordinators, with Rivers under 14 fantasy points in his last two games, but the Chargers likely to play from behind. Rivers seems like he's worth matching the field on, with some risk that he does bomb out. And now let's talk about the running backs, starting with Damian Williams in this matchup at the Chargers. LaShawn McCoy was a healthy scratch last game, while Darrell Williams saw just 3 touches to Damian Williams' 24 in Week 10. So it seems like he should have a hole in the job with a price that works as a captain or a regular roster spot. The Chargers allow a 35% boost to pass-catching running backs according to DVOA, so Damian Williams' price is appealing after he ran 28 routes in Week 10, even though the Chargers defend the rush decently with 4.2 yards per rush and a low 2.6% rushing TD rate allowed. And on the other side, you've got Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler in this match versus Kansas City. Gordon has over 20 touches and 23 fantasy points in the last 2 games with new playing caller Shane Steichen. He should stay involved with Kansas City, allowing 5.1 yards per rush, as long as the Chargers don't fall behind big. Austin Eckler was involved enough to be interesting with 8 and 16 touches in his last 2 weeks and 20 routes to Gordon's 17 in Week 10. But Gordon seems like the higher floor play, particularly in lineups that assume this will be a competitive game. And now let's talk about the wide receivers and tight ends in this matchup, starting with the Kansas City receivers at the Chargers. Tyreek Hill saw a massive 18 targets in Week 10 and seems worth regular and captain exposure, with a decent price relative to his projection and the biggest ceiling on the slate. Travis Kelce saw more routes than Hill last week, with 48 to Hill's 44, followed by Sammy Watkins 39, Demarcus Robinson's 38, then Mecole Hardman's 16, and the core guys are obviously the most appealing, but the other guys are GPP pivots or additions in lineups where you have Patrick Mahomes at captain. And on the other side, we have these Chargers receivers versus Kansas City. Keenan Allen's 8 catches and 11 targets in Week 10 were the most he's had since his early season hot start. And while he should see the toughest coverage, he looks like a more appealing wide receiver play than Mike Williams, who's a total boom-bust option. Hunter Henry projects a slightly better value than Allen with his 7.5 targets per game, while Andre Patton seems like the cheap dart throw option after 28 routes and no catches on 2 targets in Week 10. And let's close it out with the defenses and the kickers, starting with the Chargers defense versus Kansas City. The Chargers would be a very contrarian play and could be worth exposure for that reason, but with only a faint possibility of paying off in the matchup given Kansas City's ability and their high team total. And on the other side, you have the Kansas City defense at the Chargers. Kansas City generates a decent 8% sack rate and a high 17% forced fumble rate, so defensive TD doesn't seem crazy against the Chargers' poor protection, but still not a play to bank on. And last but not least, of course, we have the kickers. Harrison Butker projects his better value despite his slightly higher price, with a greater likelihood of Kansas City moving the ball into field goal range and maybe stalling out in the red zone. Michael Badgley isn't far behind Butker as a raw point or value play, and playing both kickers seems like a possibility today to afford to higher price studs with big ceilings. So there you have it. That's what I'm seeing so far for this AFC West battle on Monday Night Football. So right now, please hit that like button and comment your slate breaker down below. And of course, for these showdown slates, we do have projections and ownership projections, so use this promo code SWITCHANDHEDGE for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Go to osmo.com/join and find packages as low as $3.95 a week on there. So over to osmo.com/join and choose a package that'll work for you. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. Check out my personal podcast on the pin tweet. But just give me that follow because my brain is functioning real slowly today and this took out all my energy. The only way to get it back is with you following me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'll be back on Thursday with another showdown breakdown, so tune in then. Of course, I'll see you guys around the YouTube channel, so I hope you guys have a great Monday Night Football game. Should be a fun one. And I'll see you guys again soon. Good luck.